Hi biologists, let's start by looking at the learning objectives for this lesson. At the end of this section and following the biology syllabus, you should be able to identify the primary function of mitosis in single-celled and multicellular organisms. What does this actually mean? What are we trying to understand? Well, basically, it's very straightforward. You have to be able to identify the main function of mitosis in single-celled organisms and in multicellular organisms. Before looking at the function of mitosis, let's remind ourselves of the definition of mitosis, which we learned in a previous video. Mitosis is nuclear division, in which one nucleus, seen here in a cell, divides to form two nuclei, each containing the same number of chromosomes with identical genes as each other. So each new cell will be genetically identical to the other and genetically identical to the original parent cell. These two genetically identical cells with the same number of chromosomes as the parent can be referred to as clones. Now, when nuclear division or mitosis is finished, the cell divides to form two new cells. These two new cells are genetically identical to each other, as we've said already, and to the parent cell. Here we can see that this cell has 4 chromosomes, 1, 2 long ones, 3 and 4. The diploid number of this cell, or 2n, is 4, meaning that you have a total of 4 chromosomes and that they exist in pairs. The two new cells will be identical to each other and to the parent cell. So again, we're going to have 1, 2 long chromosomes, 3, 4, 2 short ones. So the diploid number is 4, meaning that there are 4 chromosomes in the cell existing in pairs, 2 short ones and 2 long ones. The cytoplasm and the cell organelles will be equally shared between the two cells. Cell organelles are structures like mitochondria and chloroplasts. Now that we have revised some basics of mitosis, let's return to the function of mitosis. The first function of mitosis is seen in unicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms are single-celled organisms. You can see uni here, meaning unit, a single unit or an organism that's one cell in size. Now, mitosis will increase the number of individuals if we're talking about unicellular organisms. A lot of unicellular organisms like bacteria, yeast and amoeba divide and reproduce by mitosis. So mitosis is a form of reproduction in unicellular organisms, where you start with one parent cell that divides by mitosis, resulting in 2 new daughter cells. If you like, mitosis is the basis of asexual reproduction because you start with one parent cell, ending with 2 new individuals. Now, these 2 new individual cells, as we've said, have the same genetic information in them. They are clones of each other. So mitosis is also a way of passing genetic information from one generation of cells to the next. And as an added extra, mitosis also allows gamete formation from the generative nucleus in plants. This links back to the section on plant reproduction. So in a nutshell here, mitosis plays an important part within unicellular organisms. It increases the number of individuals. It is the basis of asexual reproduction, as you start with one parent cell, and it is a means of passing genetic material from one generation to the next. Mitosis also has an important role to play in multicellular organisms. Multicellular organisms are many-celled organisms. You've heard of a multi-story car park, a car park with many stories, multi referring to many. Mitosis is used for growth in multicellular organisms because new cells are formed. New cells are produced, not new individuals. You might recall that an organism begins life as a single-celled zygote, which divides by mitosis, producing a multi-celled organism. Mitosis is also used for repair in multicellular organisms. You might recall from the section on skin that our skin cells are constantly dying and falling off us. There's a new you every 3 weeks. These cells have to be replaced. So mitosis plays a part in the replacement of old and damaged cells. This actually takes place in the Malpighian layer of the skin. You might recall the M&Ms. The Malpighian layer of the skin is where mitosis takes place, producing new cells to replace the old ones in the cornified layer. Mitosis actually takes place in every tissue of the body. In other words, in somatic tissue, tissue not concerned with reproduction. So in a nutshell, the function of mitosis in multicellular organisms is that it is used for growth and for repair. So in summary, what are the functions of mitosis, which is the learning objective of this lesson? Well, number one, in unicellular organisms, mitosis functions in reproduction. It is the main method by which bacteria reproduce. They reproduce by a method called binary fission. Bi meaning two, fission meaning splitting. So basically bacteria reproduce by splitting in two or by mitosis. It is the method by which amoeba, one-celled organisms, reproduce, and it is also how unicellular yeast will reproduce by the process of budding, where the two new cells don't totally separate from each other, they stay buddies and are attached to each other. The second main function of mitosis is in multicellular organisms, where mitosis plays an important role in the growth and repair, in other words, producing new cells, not new individuals. So it plays an important role in the growth and repair of multicellular organisms. And there you have it. Practice in a jotter. Do it on the double. Now that we have reached the end of our lesson, have we achieved our objective? Can you identify the primary function of mitosis in single-celled and multicellular organisms?